What's good, everyone? Welcome back for another session. I tested the Kaioken Mechanic or stacking ability based on the super attack ability to raise attack and defense for the Extreme Z Awakened TEQ Vegito Blue about 2 weeks ago. Now, this is more or less a post-analysis on the numbers themselves based on the overall performance of the unit. So, in case you missed the Kaioken Mechanic test for the EZA TEQ Vegito Blue, I've also done a recent one for the free-to-play Strength Type LR Vegito Blue as well. So in case you guys missed that, just check the pinned comments. One, you'll be able to understand the numbers here a little bit better, how it relates to the TEQ Vegito Blue, shown in action, as well as the overall performance with the free-to-play LR Vegito Blue as well. So with all that being said, let's just dive right in. And what you're seeing right now is a tracker that I basically created while I was running through all of the 99 turn limitations. So you've got the turn count of what the attack and defense attack stats were, or attack and defense stats were. And just to note, these numbers represent the stats pre-obtaining the orbs as well as the super attack activating itself. So the numbers obviously will fluctuate depending on those two variables there. So I just want to be very clear that these numbers do reflect, in fact, the stats overall before obtaining any orbs during that particular turn or the super attack activating itself. Now, I've got other stuff like tracking rotations where the TEQ base Vegito was included, because obviously it provides that 30% attack and defense boost to the allies on the turn. So I did make sure to kind of call that out, because depending on how you look at the graph I'll show in a second, it's going to indicate the highs and lows or the increases and drops depending on the rotation where the base Vegito is on. Additionally, this will show you that I did track the super attacks, but all of the additional attack up to 3 additional attacks, whether they were normal attacks, super attacks, or they didn't activate. So basically you see all that laid out, and that way I was able to track how many total super attacks per turn there was from this guy, as well as any additional super attacks. So that's basically what I wanted to track from an overall standpoint, was how many additional super attacks he was able to perform per turn within the 99 turn limitation, but also the total super attacks per turn as well. Now, I didn't go through like the the total attacks total attack stats per turn. I more or less just wanted to kind of capture what the base attack and defense stats were pre the super attacks activating. So transitioning on, this is basically a visual perspective in terms of what all the numbers mean. So we'll start with the attack stats per turn chart or visual here. You can see that the overall starting position on turn 1 was an attack stat of 152,137. Now, defense on turn 1 was 144,308. And as you can see, within the limitations up to 71 turns here, the final state of the attack stats was 9,256,4. And then defense is 2,521,364. What that represents here is an increase for attack 9,103,867, which is equivalent of the 5,984% shown there. Defense-wise, it was 2,377 and 56 in terms of overall increase to defense. That represents a 1,647.2% increase. So as you can see, these numbers do incrementally go up over time, and you can kind of see how much of an increase you actually see here. And again, like I noted, with having the base Vegito as the floating support, you'll see the up and downs, right? For example, from an attack standpoint, you'll see 6.5 million on turn 47, but it drops to like 5.1 and 5.2, and it goes back up to 7. Similar case with the defense, not as drastic. You've got 1.8 million on turn 47 or 48, and drops to 1.6 respectively for 2 turns after that, and goes back up to 1.9. So again, this is why I wanted to track the rotations. I mean, you'd be able to tell without tracking it, but I wanted to kind of call out rotations where the Vegito support was providing that additional boost of attack and defense. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was how many total super attacks took place within, the 71 turns, but also how many additional super attacks he was able to pull off. So, with that being said, from the tracker that I maintain, total super attacks for the TEQ Vegito Blue unit was 72 in total, and that includes the first initial super attack as well. So 72 total super attacks within the 71 turn limit. In terms of like the overall additional super attack, it looks like he was able to perform 36 total additional super attacks. So that equates to about roughly right at the 50% mark of the total in terms of 72. So basically that's the point there, and it is a little bit confusing here because we have a 71 turn total and he's only performing 72 total super attacks, and maybe the math is wrong on my regard because it should be quite higher, honestly, but if we're averaging more than one per turn, but in this sense it is showing 72, so we'll stick with it for now. Now, in terms of the overall percent increase, right, if you include the rotations where attack and defense percentages drop because of the immediate rotation after you've had the Vegito support as a floater, you're looking at an average percent increase per turn of 19.8% for attack and defense of 10.8%. Now, if you exclude the drops from the immediate turn after the support Vegito was on, you're looking a little bit higher at a percent average increase per turn by 32.3% toward attack, and then 15.4% toward defense. So that's pretty much the takeaway with that one. In terms of like the overall average, I think it's a little bit more than that because I'm looking at the math here, right? And I think what I actually need to do here is basically restructure the formula here. So I'm gonna correct the total super attacks and the equivalents in the pinned comment offline after this video. But I'm looking at the math here, and the way it's adding up, it's including the blinks essentially, right? So it's dropping the averages a little bit. So in the pinned comment, I'll make sure to call that out with the correct numbers and the correct percentages of what have you. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching, and as always, I appreciate it, and I will catch you guys later. All right, peace out.